most of the time when we want to use or get hosting, you usually go to the big names like Namecheap. So let me go through it for you. So yeah, so we usually go here to get our domain name hosting, right? As time goes, I think we as developers need to divert our attention to more self-managed service. Now, with Namecheap service is great. I'm just using Namecheap as an example. I do use other services as well. Namecheap is great, but when you come to the hosting, we have these plans. We have shared, we have hosting for WordPress, we have reseller hosting, VPS, dedicated hosting. Now, for those of you that don't know what all these things are, here just a space that's been provided for you to store your files in a database so that you can run your day-to-day website. And now, I love this service, I would like to, but there are limitations to these services. Now, I have clicked on the shared hosting so that I'll show you something quickly. Now, with shared hosting, you are going to share what we call the resources with other users. Okay, now when we come here, this is a Namecheap's shared hosting plan, Stellar Plus and small business, right? So this one they are giving us free trial for 1 month, but that's not what we are going to look like. Let's go for the technical details a bit, right? So when I get down, when you look at it, technical details, you can see that look at it, this space is small, fine. For the Stellar plan, and the Stellar Plus is unlimited SSD, but there is what we call a node limit to reach 300,000. Okay, now their biggest shared hosting plan is having 50 gig of SSD storage and 600,000 node limit. Now these are all great service, but as time goes on, if you work for a client and even more power, you want more isolation, most of the time you need to go for the hosting, the VPS hosting. Now this hosting sometimes can actually be expensive. Namecheap is saying that it is cheap. Yes, it's cheap for monthly basis, but if you want to do it yearly, it's quite something that you need to look out for. Okay, now look at the first plan, which is called Spark. Spark is being renewed at $4.88 for 1 CPU core, 1 gig RAM. Now I work with a lot of e-commerce website. If I get this for my client and customers or UC customers are buying from it, this 1 gig RAM is going to run out very quick. So I prefer to have the freedom of customizing my VPS for my clients to use. Now there are a lot of VPS platforms or cloud instance platforms that people use in this current space, but there is one particular one that I'm using right now that we call Linode. I've used it before, but I've never used it in production. I only use it for what we call project-based thing, just develop some projects, show it to my clients. This is a mentally thing. Okay, so mentally I have payment lane. Just when I'm done, I just delete the instance back. Now I'm using it for reproduction. I want to show you guys how to set it up. Okay, first of all, before you can use Linode, so this is the site linode.com. This is being purchased by aaPanel Cloud. The time that I started using this, it was still owned by Linode itself. Alright, so you should search Linode on Google. Just gonna show you this and aaPanel Cloud, and just come to this site. Now before you do anything, you need to sign up and verify your details. Think credit card or debit card and your phone number. I've already done all those things. So after you are successfully registered, what you need to do is to come to this button, click on login, or if it does not directly redirect to the dashboard, you will go for the login. Then you sign in with your account. Now, one thing you need to get down is what we call party. So party gen. Party gen is what we call an SSH connect application. Okay, it helps you to connect to your instance. Okay, yeah. So this is the site. Now this I have it here right now on my taskbar. So let me open it. So yeah. So this is the party configuration. Like you said, I have some of the service running already. So I have this, and this, and majority of these are dedicated service cloud instance, so what we call VPS. Okay, you don't need this right now, but you need to get this and download it here. So come to this link that I've shared here, and then you download this one if you are a Windows user. If you are not, kindly go through the rest and download for your system. Right, so I've able to log into my Linode account right now. So it's trying to load my instance for me, or what we call the Linode in this case. Yeah. So right, so currently I am having only one Linode instance running. So you see this is my client actually. So this one is running. This is a different new account altogether I've created for the Linode service. Now you consider the plan is what G8 dedicated. That's 4 times 2. I'll get into details into that. But right now, this is what I have. Now, if this is your first time that you've actually got into the dashboard, you're going to see something in front around where the monthly transfer pool is. Then click on create. But you can also do it from using this particular button at the top right corner over here, or you create a Linode instance. So for you to just have a clear pinpoint idea, you have to come here and do create. Now when you click on create, what are you looking for in this case? You are trying to create what we call an instance or a computer in this case. Now it's very easy to do. So what you do when you click on create, come and click on the first option here under computer, which is Linode. We click on it. So after clicking on the create and selecting the Linode, you'll be presented with these options. Okay, now let me walk you through the options right now. So we have the bare OS that you can install. You have the quick apps that you can deploy depending on what you want to do at one point in time. So the OS is there. Then you see that right now I've been given Ubuntu 24.0. Then we have the app section. Now these are the app sessions. You have a lot of apps that you can use depending on your choice or what service you want to deploy at a point in time. Right, so we have Olama, we have OpenClaw, we have DeepSeek, we have WordPress, you have even Postgres for your database, so you can set up a database via use it in your production. You have a aaPanel, which is like a control panel, but more open source than this particular cPanel. I've just clicked on it. I don't actually need to. Right. So this you can install almost anything at all using the quick app aspect. But I'm not going to teach you how to do it this way. I'm actually going to use the OS method to install the software that I need. Right, so then we have stack script. Now the stack script is for, let's say, someone that's created an instance, then the person shares the command and the codes that he used to create this particular instance. Okay, now we have images as well. Then we can also create what we call a backup server if you already have one running. Okay, now our also you can also close another Linode that you have, so that let's say there'll be what we call a cloud instance, so that the load can be shared. Okay, that's a load balancing actually. Alright, so let's go back to the OS, because that's what I want to teach you, so that we can be able to install aaPanel. Alright, so first things first, you need to select a region. So when you click on it, we have North America, we have Asia, we have Europe, Oceania, and South America, depending on the area that you want to pick. It's fine, depending on the length and speed. So you can actually check the speed out for each of the service path. So since this is a tutorial, I'm gonna just select the first one right here. Now, after selecting the region, then you come to the distribution side and select the distribution that you want. So we have from Almax Linux, down to Ubuntu. So you can decide to select Ubuntu 24 or anyone the OS that you are, how do you call it, conversant with. Okay, but I'm going to leave it on the default Ubuntu 24.0. Now this is where you make your plans. Now, shared CPU. The shared CPU is almost the same as shared hosting, or let's say higher tier of shared hosting, and lower parts of let's say a VPS. Okay, so we have the plans over here. Now the least you can have is a Linode, which is 1 gigabyte, 1 gig RAM, and 1 CPU. Now note, this is what I am running away from, so I'm not going to select this thing to set up for myself. In actuality, what I did for my client was I have to select a dedicated 4 gig, that is a 4 gigabyte RAM and 2 core CPUs and 80 gig storage, which, like I tell you, if the site is maintained for long, they will not be able to use up to the 80 gig of storage over here and 4 terabytes. Now this 4 terabyte transfer bandwidth is actually manipulated. It resets every month so that you can use it. Okay, now we have the high memory if you want to work with a very highly intense memory. Okay, here we have GPU if you want to run how do you call it, AI. Okay, now we have premium CPU. Now premium CPU right now is being grayed out. Why is it grayed out? Because they're of the region I've selected. So some of them you cannot have access to some of the service if you select some regions. Okay, I think we have accelerated, but I've never tried that one before. Actually, I only work with the dedicated CPU and shared CPU. So depending on your plan, select the one that you want. So you can only go through. Now for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna pick the 2 gig RAM and Linode with 1 CPU, or better still, let me go for the 4 gig RAM with 2 CPU cores and 80 gig storage. Alright, so after selecting that, you need to come down to details and give it a label. So I'll just say vendor V1. Now you can decide to add tags if you're going to have a lot of you can add a tag if you know you're going to have a lot of instances created, so I need to track them much easier. But I don't need this right now because it's just a tutorial and this is for my clients only. So yeah, now for the first time that you're doing this, you are supposed to add an SSH user and an SSH key. But most of the time I do ignore the SSH key, but it is advisable that you actually use SSH key. Now note that this user is not going to be the same as your root user. It is different, right? So where you have to enter the password that you need to use to log in with the party configurator that I just showed you. Okay, so I'm gonna come here and just type password. Make sure the password is strong enough. Always, never uncheck this. Always encrypt your disk in case of anything. You can leave the rest as it is, but when you reach this particular place, public interface, create a firewall, or if you have an existing one. For me, I do have an existing one. So what Linode actually does is give you two options. One, no firewall, so your traffic is actually unprotected. Anything can pass through in and out. I have created an instance already for my firewall, so it's easy. It's actually easy to create. So just click on firewall. You can just select it from a template. You don't have any. Yeah, you can select from a template. Just continue. Just give it a label and select one. Okay, and just create it, and to just be selected for you automatically there, and that is why. Right. So gonna close this. Then yeah, I think that's the end. So I'm gonna click on create Linode so that the system will start provisioning the server for me. So as it's doing that, I would like to show you this. So I would like to install what we call aaPanel, or we have this called aaPanel. So aaPanel is one of the best open source panel that you can actually use in this day and age. Another new one that is here that I actually love to use now is what we call aaPanel. Is great, but I actually love aaPanel because of the free Docker instance that you can actually have in it, so that you can isolate different services from each other and it will not crash. Okay, so we will be installing the aaPanel. Is quite good, especially for this WordPress development and stuff. Okay, right. Okay, so my server is still being provisioned, so sorry, button. Okay, let me close this guys quickly. Okay, before I even close this guy, let me go for the install. So since I used Ubuntu 24.0, but AE say I should use 22.04, but the 24.0 that I use is also okay. Okay, so yeah, right. So my server is running, so I have to open my Linode Instance. Sorry, my pathogen. Let me just copy. Copy and paste. Leave the port as it is. Leave everything as it is. And come and click on open. So it's going to prompt you. Now, why is it prompting us? Because Office not generate an SSH key and connecting it to the IP directly. So this is what it's going to do, and we can decide to accept it or connect once. Which anytime we are trying to connect again, it will bring out this particular alert again. But let's just click on accept so that everything will working out normally for us. So this is what we have. So I'm gonna type in root as the user, then the password that you created during the instance creation. So remember that password and type it in. Now note if you are typing it in, it's not going to show. It's a terminal, it will not show. Right, so this is my server and this up and running. So you can see the details over here, the IP address and everything. Okay, right, so I'm gonna do sudo apt-get update. This is always the first thing you need to do, even if you are having what we call a Linode desktops. After successful installation and you connect to internet, you must always run an update and what we call upgrade. Okay. Alright, so the update is done. So I would like to install my aaPanel quickly. So I'll come to the website for the installation and I'll click on copy. Now you should be aware that when we come to aaPanel, it's going to install all the web service that you need. Okay, so I'll just right click to paste the code and click on install. Alright, so yes. Okay, so the installation process has started. So while it's doing that, I would like you to go to your browser, type in keep notes, so that whatever it has been given us, we can actually store it down. Okay. Alright, so currently our installation is done. So I'd like you to click and drag over up to congratulations. Go to the top, right click, copy this, come to your notes. Okay, look like I'm gonna take a step it down. So right, so I'm gonna paste it here. So what you need to do is to copy this particular URL for it, copy, come to your browser and paste. Now inside what you've copied is your dummy username and password. Okay, that be username and password that you can use to log into your panel. So now let's wait for it to load. Okay, right, so we are on the login page for our aaPanel. Now if this seems not to come, go back to your Linode and actually remove the firewall from the dashboard. Okay, so you just go to network and you see the firewalls issue, just remove it and you'll be good to go. Then everything will go back to normal. Alright, so the username that was given to us here, can only copy, paste, copy again and paste. All right. Okay. All right. So when it's done this way, just click on finish. All right. So aaPanel is actually going to tell you that thank you for installing. Just formalities. Okay. We don't need this one per se. Okay. Now here's the thing. If you want to use this as a multi-purpose or multi-web server, you can pick it like this what I actually like about it. Okay. Or if you just want to use it as a single web server that only one server type is going to run through your site, then you go for the single web server. Okay, so currently I would say since you are starting and you're new to this, go for the single web server. As time goes on, you go for this. Okay, now Nginx is actually faster and more secure than Apache and open like speed in my case. Okay, in my case, so those are the things I'm going to show now. You can see that aaPanel has already pre-selected these things for you. So all you need to do, you can just click on compile so that it installs them in the compile manner, or you have the quick install method. Okay, I always prefer the quick install method, so I'll just go for a quick install. And you need to add all the service on the list and install. Okay, right. So this is how you actually install aaPanel on the Linux server, and this is how you install a panel on a server to host your website for either your project or for your client. I'll see you in the next one.